kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm just kidding.
All right, I am just here today to have this YouTube video to tell you music is cool, music is fun. There's something out there for everyone. And that's true. You can take that to the bank, all right? Today, we're going to talk about a quick 3 instruments from 3 different families with potentially a bonus instrument at the end. So stay tuned, watch the whole video, because we're going to talk about an instrument from each instrument family. And you are going to get to learn a little bit about what they physically look like and what they sound like, all right? Are you ready? Say yes. Let's go. The first instrument we're going to learn about is the drum set. That was very loud. Okay. The drum set is a really, really cool instrument in the percussion family. It's actually got a lot of little instruments built in it, okay? So not all drum sets look the same. They're made up of different components, but for the most part, I can go over some basics you will see in a drum set. You might see this at your local church. You might see this in a band setup that you might find out at a restaurant. They've got a live band going, a lot of funk, groove, jazz bands. They've got drum set players in the rhythm section, all right? It's a cool instrument. It's so cool. So Miss T's not the greatest drum set player, but she's going to give you a little sample here. You ready? So that's just a little sample of what it might sound like to play the few parts of the drum. And the 2 parts I played are the ride cymbal right here. I'm controlling it with my foot. There's a pedal at the bottom. I go like this, hold it down, or let it up. You can let it ring out and stop it. It's got a cymbal on the bottom and a cymbal on the top. And the pedal brings them far apart and close together like so. I'm doing that with my foot. Then you have another cymbal right here. This is actually, if you can't really see, but there's a smaller cymbal on top and this big wide cymbal here. These are called, there's 2 of these. These are called ride cymbals. And right here, so 2 types of cymbals we got going on, all made from the kind of same material, just a different shape, just a different structure. Then you've got the snare drum in the center, all right? And it's a pretty loud snare drum. I'm using straight drumsticks right here. This is your snare drum in the center. It's got different wires on the bottom of the drum that help give that vibration. All right, very fun. And then you also heard me playing what you can't quite see in the camera shot. So big drum down here at the bottom, the bass drum. I also have a pedal that I'm hitting it with my foot to make that big bass sound like so. All right, and last but not least, over here we've got a tom, and it's a different kind of sound to it. A little lower. There are no wires against the bottom, giving it that kind of rattle that the snare has. And this is just a big open drum right here. It's got a clear drum head on it. It's got a big low sound, more similar to the bass drum than to the snare drum. All right, and this is your basic drum set. It's got a lot of pieces to it. Physically, it looks pretty cool to play. I'm gonna tell you, most drummers look pretty cool, all right? And it is a part of the percussion family, fits into the percussion family. And we want to think about ways to describe the sound. You might describe the drum sound basic-wise as loud, all right? It kind of has a rattle to it. You could describe the sound as bright with the cymbal. There's a lot of different adjectives you could use to describe this word. I want you to think of some on your own. What could you use to describe the sound you hear, the timbre of the instruments of the drum set? I'm going to travel over to our next instrument. All right, welcome. We have made it to the brass family. This is called a euphonium. And most of you that have been around long enough remember that this is Miss T's baby. This is the instrument she grew up playing and still plays today. All right, it is a part of the brass family. Like I said, it has a mouthpiece and one main body. All right. A lot of these little pieces here, these tubes you see, we call those slides, and those do come out to clean it, right? But they do not come apart for me to put it up in its case, or for me to, when I'm not playing it, I don't take all that off. All right, it all stays together. It's got 4 buttons, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a trigger right here. This piece right here is also a button, as well as it has a bell. This is where the sound comes from, all right? So this is a lower brass instrument, so it makes a low sound. All right, it is so fun to play. And that was Little Somewhere Over the Rainbow, played by moi. I hope you will think this instrument's the coolest, but it doesn't matter if you do. I definitely think it's the coolest. And this again was the euphonium, a part of the brass family. If you look at its physical appearance, you see it's made of a brass material, metal material, right? And it also, it's a pretty heavy instrument. You gotta be tough and strong, like myself, to play it. And if you want to describe the sound, what would you say? I thought it was the most glorious, beautiful sound I ever heard. But you might also describe this sound as a lower sound. You might describe it as a smooth sound or a rich sound. Just think about the ways to describe the timbre of the euphonium. And get ready, because we are going to travel to our third and maybe final instrument. Don't forget to watch the end for a bonus instrument of our little instrument family tour. All right, we're going to travel to our next destination, and I think we might have a guest on this next destination. We shall see. All right, we're at our third and almost final destination. This is Mr. T. Mr. T, say hello to the students.
Hola.
He is going to demonstrate what Miss T could not, which is normally a lot of different instruments. Mr. T is actually very good at instruments. But he happens here to have what we call a saxophone. This is out of the woodwind family. It is also made of a brass material, but it is in the woodwind family, right? So it has a whole lot of buttons. Look at all of these buttons, so many. And just like the euphonium, it also has a bell on it, okay? Shaped very differently though, and used to be held with a, what do we call this, a strap?
Neck strap.
A neck strap to support the musicians playing, okay? So it's also, you do not have a mouth, well, you kind of have a mouthpiece, but it's a different style mouthpiece than the euphonium. It has a reed on it. If you can see, there's several different parts. We've got the ligature, the mouthpiece itself, and the reed, right? All of this is constructed together for the saxophone to get that nice, rich sound of the saxophone. So this is the neck and head joint. We call it head joint. Just as the neck.
Neck.
The neck with the mouthpiece attached of the saxophone. All right, and you could just play this by itself. Very loud. And now Mr. T is going to play y'all a song you might know on the saxophone. So Mr. T, let us know. Let's hear how that saxophone sounds. Very nice job. Thank you for demonstrating the saxophone, Mr. T. We're going to discuss the sound of the saxophone. Real quick, think about what you think it sounds like. I'm going to throw out some words. I think bright is a perfect perfect word to describe the sound of the saxophone. Bright, all right? There are different types of saxophones. This one has a little bit more of a higher pitch, okay? It tends to play some of those alto, more soprano notes of the treble clef, right? It's got a very vibrant sound to it. I think those are a few of my words. So I'm going to go with bright and vibrant. You can think of some words on your own to describe the sound of the saxophone, right? So we've gone over the appearance, we've gone over the sound. It is in the woodwind family. That was our third instrument. We're going to see if we can travel to one more destination for our final bonus instrument. Here we go. We made it to our final destination, bonus destination, to the string family. A little bit unconventional. We don't have a violin for you. We don't have a cello for you. What we do have is an electric bass. This instrument needs very little words, as it is a very cool all on its own with no description. I will say that, as you can see, these have strings. These strings are not actually wire. They are nylon strings. Is that correct? Nylon strings, all right? And we also have... if you'll scoot back, and right here, this, as you see, here's the electric connection, where you will plug it into an amp in order to get that loud vibration, deep funk sound. All right, so Mr. T is, of course, going to demonstrate this instrument again because this is one of his main instruments. So he is going to play a little quick groove for you guys on the electric bass. Yes, we made it to our final destination. We checked out all 4 instrument families. That was awesome. All right, y'all. Thanks for joining another music class with Miss T. This one was all about some instruments, and I'm so happy y'all got to join us. I've got Zuko and Benny here. We're going to close you out today. I want to get you hype and excited about the fact that for the remainder of this week, you are going to get to learn about the instruments. So we're going to play some games. We're going to hear some amazing musicians perform some instruments. We're going to dive in deep to some amazing musical instruments. I'll see you guys in the next video. See y'all later. Bye. Miss T out. And Zuko out. And Benny out. And Mr. T out.